First Contact and Misunderstanding. The central nexus of Voxian High Command pulsed with unusual activity. Luminescent panels that normally glowed with a gentle blue hum now flashed urgent patterns of amber and crimson. Elder Thesra, her translucent skin reflecting the emergency lights, floated toward the central projection sphere where a dozen other elders had already gathered. "Show me," she commanded, her voice resonating not through air, but directly into the minds of those present. The projection sphere shimmered and revealed a vessel unlike any the Voxians had encountered in their 3 millennia of peaceful space exploration. Angular and dark, with harsh geometric lines that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light, the ship hung against the backdrop of stars near the outer boundary of Voxian space. "It appeared 7 cycles ago," explained Science Director Melvin, his neural tendrils waving with agitation. "It matches no known configuration in our database of the 32 spacefaring species within the Harmonic Coalition." Thasra studied the projection, her inner eyelids blinking slowly as she processed what she was seeing. The vessel's hull featured protruding structures that served no apparent scientific or exploratory purpose. They looked defensive, protective, perhaps even offensive. "Have they responded to communication attempts?" she asked. "Not in any way we recognize," Melvin replied. "They transmit structured data bursts that our systems cannot interpret. Our attempts to establish telepathic communion have been rejected." "Rejected?" Elder Thesra's neural corona flickered with surprise. "How can a sentient mind reject communion? It's as if there's nothing there to connect with," Melvin said, his voice thoughts tinged with unease, "like trying to commune with empty space." Defense Coordinator Ziv approached the sphere, his usually calm demeanor disturbed. "Look at the structural design," he said, gesturing with a 3-fingered hand. "These aren't exploratory or scientific vessels. The entire composition suggests extreme durability. Those protrusions are almost certainly weapon emplacements." "A warship." Thasra's thought voice carried her disbelief. In the 3,000 years since the Voxians had achieved spaceflight, they had encountered many species, some with strange bodies, odd customs, unique ways of thinking, but all fundamentally peaceful. The concept of a vessel designed specifically for combat was almost incomprehensible. "Without question," Ziv confirmed, "we may have encountered something unprecedented. A truly aggressive intelligent species." A collective wave of anxiety rippled through the neural network connecting the elders. The Voxians, with their telepathic abilities and empathic evolution, had never needed to develop weapons. Their defense systems were designed to protect against stellar phenomena and space debris, not organized attack. "We must approach with greater caution," Thasra decided. "Send our fastest observation vessel to monitor from a safe distance." "Already done," Melvin replied. "They report the vessel is moving slowly toward the Lumina system." Elder Kef, who had remained silent until now, joined the conversation. "The Lumina system contains our largest research outpost. 17,000 Voxians live and work there." The room grew tense as the implications settled over the gathering. "If this is a predatory species seeking resources or territory," began Ziv, his neural corona flaring with concern. "We must not jump to conclusions," Thasra interrupted. "There could be many reasons for their course. Perhaps they are simply curious. Perhaps they seek knowledge or peaceful exchange. Or perhaps they seek conquest," said Ziv. "We should ready our defense grid." Melvin looked uncomfortable. "Our defense grid was designed to handle meteor showers and solar flares. We have no true combat capabilities." "Then what do you suggest?" asked Ziv with growing frustration. "I suggest we learn more," Thasra said firmly. "Send a contact team. Keep them at a safe distance, but try all forms of communication again, and prepare evacuation protocols for Lumina, just to be safe." 2 cycles later, Science Officer Vela stood on the bridge of the contact vessel Seeker of Harmony as it maintained position at what they hoped was a respectful distance from the massive alien ship. The vessel was even more imposing up close. Its hull was made of some dark composite that seemed to swallow light, and strange energy signatures pulsed from vents along its spine. "Any response to our latest transmission?" Vela asked the communications specialist beside her. "Nothing we can interpret," she replied. "But there is something new. They're sending the same pattern of signals repeatedly. It could be an attempt to establish a communication baseline." Vela nodded. "Keep sending our welcome message on all frequencies, and the telepathic probes." Still nothing. It's as if their minds are shielded somehow. I've never encountered anything like it. Vela was about to respond when the ship's proximity alert sounded. "What's happening?" "The alien vessel has launched several smaller craft," reported the sensor operator, his voice thoughts tinged with alarm. "They're moving in a pattern around their main ship." Vela watched as the small alien craft moved with astonishing precision, forming a perfect defensive formation around their mothership. The display of coordination and technology was both beautiful and terrifying. "Are they preparing to attack?" asked the pilot nervously. "I don't know," Vela admitted, "but they had numerous opportunities to attack already if that was their intention. I think this is something else." Suddenly, the small alien craft began to emit stronger signals, broadcasting on a wider range of frequencies. "They're trying harder to communicate," Vela realized. "Redirect all our receivers to focus on those small craft." For hours, the Seeker of Harmony stayed in position, receiving and analyzing the alien signals. Slowly, patterns began to emerge. The alien messages contained mathematical sequences, prime numbers, the value of pi, simple equations. These were followed by simple images: a circle, a square, 2 points connected by a line. "They're building a communication bridge," Vela said with growing excitement. "They're showing us they understand mathematics and basic concepts. Now they're sending images of stars. I think they're showing us where they come from." As the cycle progressed, the crew of the Seeker of Harmony made their first breakthrough in understanding the aliens. They learned that the beings called themselves humans and came from a planet called Earth in a star system far beyond the known regions of space. But most surprising was what they learned about the nature of these humans. Yes, their vessel was indeed a warship. The humans made no attempt to hide this fact, but they explained that they built such ships for protection, not conquest. They had evolved on a world filled with predators and had needed to become strong to survive. Vela sent an urgent message back to the High Command. "The aliens, the humans, are indeed warriors, but they are not mindless aggressors. They have art, science, and a deep curiosity despite their capacity for war. They wish to meet with our leaders to establish formal relations." The response from High Command came quickly. "Approach with caution. Invite a small delegation to meet at the neutral space station at the edge of the Lumina system. We will learn more about these humans and decide if they can be trusted." As Vela prepared the invitation, she couldn't help but feel that the galaxy had just become a much more complex place. The humans, with their strange mix of warrior strength and exploratory intentions, would change everything the Voxians thought they knew about the nature of intelligent life. Captain Myrais stood on the bridge of the UES Pathfinder, Earth's first long-range military exploration vessel. The mission had been clear: push beyond their solar system, establish a human presence in the galaxy, and ensure humanity's future among the stars. "Status report," she ordered, watching the alien vessels that had surrounded them at a cautious distance. 5 alien ships maintaining formation, Captain," Lieutenant Commander Chen reported. "Their energy signatures suggest advanced propulsion technology, but their defensive systems appear less sophisticated than ours." "Any progress on communications?" Rise asked. Communications Officer Torres shook his head. "They've sent some kind of psychic probe at us several times. Our psi-dampening fields are blocking it, but I think they're trying to establish direct mental contact." "A telepathic species," Rise mused. "Fascinating evolutionary path, but problematic for diplomacy," added Dr. Okafor, the xenobiologist. "They may interpret our psi-blocking as hostile." They might not understand the concept of a non-telepathic sentient species. Reyes nodded. Prepare a first contact package with basic mathematical principles and visual communication, and maintain defensive posture. If humanity's first steps into the galaxy have taught us anything, it's that it's better to be prepared and not needed than needed and not be prepared. As the Pathfinder deployed its communication drones, the alien vessels reacted with what appeared to be alarm, backing away rapidly and charging what looked like energy projectors. They think we're attacking, Reyes realized too late. Raise shields, but do not, I repeat, do not, arm weapons. The bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency. The Pathfinder's shield system hummed to life, creating an invisible barrier around the ship. It was a purely defensive action, but Reyes realized how it might appear to the aliens. A flash of light erupted from one of the alien vessels, a pulse of energy that dissipated harmlessly against the Pathfinder's shields. Shields holding at 99.9%, Chen reported. That was barely more than a sensor sweep, Captain. They're testing us, Reyes realized, or warning us. 2 more flashes followed as more alien ships fired similar pulses, still no significant damage to shields. Reyes made a quick decision. Torres, prepare a demonstration. Target that large asteroid at bearing 045. 1 kinetic round, minimum yield. The Pathfinder's main railgun silently aligned. With barely a shudder, the ship launched the single round. A small tungsten slug accelerated to near relativistic speed. Seconds later, the distant asteroid erupted in a flash of light as the kinetic energy of impact converted to heat and light. All alien vessels have ceased charging weapons, Chen reported, a hint of relief in his voice. They got the message, Reyes said. We could have targeted them, but chose not to. Torres, broadcast the first contact package again. Maximum power, understanding, and alliance. The neutral space station hung in orbit around the 4th planet of the Lumina system, a crystalline structure of Voxian design that resembled a giant snowflake spinning gently in space. It was here that humanity would have its first face-to-face meeting with an alien species. Captain Maya Reyes stood in the decontamination chamber with her small delegation. Dr. Okafor, the xenobiologist, Torres, whose communications expertise had proven invaluable, Chen, for security purposes, and Dr. Lakshmi, their cultural specialist. All wore the formal Navy dress uniform, deep blue with silver trim, bearing the United Earth Alliance insignia. Remember, Reyes said as the airlock cycled, we represent not just our ship but all of humanity. Let's make a good first impression. The airlock hissed open to reveal a large, circular chamber. Light filtered through translucent panels, creating an otherworldly glow. And there, waiting for them, were the Voxians. Reyes had seen images from their visual communications, but nothing had prepared her for the reality. The Voxians stood approximately 2 meters tall, with slender bodies that seemed almost crystalline. Their skin was semi-transparent, showing a network of luminescent veins beneath. Instead of hair, delicate tendrils floated above their heads, moving slightly as if underwater. 4 eyes, large, multifaceted, and without pupils, studied the humans with unmistakable curiosity. Elder Fazra stepped forward, her movements fluid and graceful. She raised her 3-fingered hand in what the humans recognized as their adapted version of a greeting gesture. The Voxians had studied the human communication package thoroughly. Welcome to Voxian space, Fazra said aloud, though her lips didn't move. The words appeared in the humans' minds, accompanied by a gentle sensation of warmth. I am Elder Fazra of the High Command. Captain Reyes stepped forward and raised her hand in the same gesture. Thank you for your welcome. I am Captain Maya Reyes of the United Earth Alliance vessel Pathfinder. We come in peace and friendship. A flicker of what might have been amusement passed through the telepathic connection. An interesting statement from the commander of a warship, Fazra observed. Reyes nodded, acknowledging the point. Our vessel is designed for defense because on our world, Survival often depends on being prepared for dangers. But we are explorers first, warriors only when necessary. A concept foreign to our understanding, Thazra admitted. In 3,000 years of space exploration, we have never encountered a species that evolved with the need for warfare. Dr. Okafor stepped forward slightly. Your evolutionary path must have been very different from ours. May I ask about your home world? The meeting progressed into an exchange of basic information about their respective species. The Voxians learned that humans had evolved on a planet teeming with predators, where competition for resources had driven the development of tools, weapons, and eventually civilization. The humans, in turn, discovered that the Voxians had evolved on a world with few natural threats, where their telepathic abilities had led to a society built entirely on cooperation and shared understanding. Your minds are closed to us, Thazra noted. We sense your presence but cannot connect. It is disconcerting. Our brains didn't evolve for telepathic communication, Dr. Okafor explained. But we're eager to learn about your methods. Perhaps with time and technology, we could develop a bridge between our different forms of communication. The meeting had been proceeding well when an urgent message arrived for Elder Thazra. Her neural corona flickered with alarm as she received it. Is something wrong? Rise asked, noticing the change. Thazra hesitated before responding. We have detected unusual activity at the outer edge of our territory. Several of our scientific outposts have gone silent. Could it be a natural phenomenon? Asked Dr. Lakshmi. No, Thazra replied. Our last communication indicated the presence of unknown vessels. Not like yours. Different. They did not respond to any communication attempts before the outposts went silent. Captain Rise exchanged glances with her team. We've encountered hostile species before, she said carefully. It's one of the reasons we build ships like the Pathfinder. A long silence followed as the Voxians communicated telepathically among themselves. Finally, Thazra addressed the humans again. We have protected ourselves through isolation and anonymity for millennia, she said. But if these are indeed hostile entities, we have no effective means to defend ourselves. Our technology is advanced in many ways, but we have never developed weapons. Reyes understood the unspoken question. The Pathfinder was built to protect, she said. We would be willing to investigate these disturbances and offer assistance if needed. You would risk yourselves for a species you have just met. Thazra's thought voice carried her surprise. That's what explorers do, Rise replied simply. And if there is a threat out there, better to identify it now and work together than to face it alone later. Within hours, a joint mission was organized. The Pathfinder would travel to the silent outposts, with a small Voxian delegation aboard to facilitate any peaceful contact attempts. Science Officer Vela volunteered immediately, along with 2 other specialists. As the Voxians boarded the human vessel, they could not hide their amazement at its design. Everything about the Pathfinder spoke of dual purpose: scientific instruments alongside defense systems, exploration equipment alongside weapons. Your ship is a contradiction, Vela observed to Captain Reyes as they walked the corridors. Built for both creation and destruction. Like humanity itself, Reyes replied. We've learned to channel our protective instincts toward positive ends. Our capacity for aggression has led to some of our greatest accomplishments when properly directed. The Pathfinder reached the coordinates of the first silent outpost 12 hours later. What they found sent ripples of shock through both humans and Voxians. Where a thriving research station had once orbited, only debris remained. Scattered fragments of Voxian technology floated in a gruesome display of deliberate destruction. Scan for life signs, Rise ordered, her voice tight. None detected, Captain, Chen reported grimly. Beside her, Vela's translucent skin had paled, her neural corona withdrawn in grief and shock. The Voxians had never experienced such violence. There's something else, Chen continued. I'm detecting residual energy signatures unlike anything in our database. And there's a trail. Ion remnants leading out system. Can we follow it? Rise asked. Yes, Captain. The trail is still fresh. Reyes turned to Vela, whose grief was palpable even without telepathic connection. We don't have to pursue them. We can return you to your people first. Vela's neural corona extended slightly as she gathered herself. No, if there is a threat to my species, I wish to understand it. And if more of my people are in danger, time is essential. The Pathfinder followed the ion trail to another system 2 light-years distant. Here they found not destruction but an active scene. 3 unknown vessels surrounding another Voxian outpost. These ships were organic in appearance, with pulsing, irregular hulls that seemed to absorb and reflect light in unsettling patterns. They're scanning the station, Chen reported. Energy readings suggest they're preparing to fire some kind of disruptor beam. Red alert, Reyes ordered. Shields up, weapons hot. Hail those vessels. The alien ships didn't respond to hails. Instead, they immediately broke off their attack on the Voxian station and turned toward the Pathfinder. They're charging weapons, Chen announced. Evasive maneuvers, Reyes commanded. Target their weapon systems only. I want disabling shots, not destruction. Let's give them a chance to reconsider. The battle was brief but intense. The alien vessels fired strange energy weapons that made the Pathfinder's shields fluctuate wildly. But the human ship's superior tactical systems prevailed. Precision rail gunshots disabled 2 of the alien vessel's propulsion systems, while the third turned and fled. Pursuit, Captain? Chen asked. Negative. Our priority is the Voxian outpost. Status. They're intact, but their defensive shields are failing. 217 life signs detected. Reyes turned to Vela. Can you contact them? The Voxian nodded, her neural corona extending as she established telepathic connection with her people. They're terrified but alive, she reported moments later. These attackers, they call themselves the Harvesters, have been systematically targeting our research outposts. They extract our people. For study. Reyes's expression hardened. Not while we're here. They don't. Chen, establish a defensive perimeter around the station. Torres, get me a direct line to Earth Command and the Voxian High Command. We're going to need reinforcements. In the days that followed, a historic alliance took shape. The Voxians, faced with a threat they could not have countered alone, offered their advanced scientific knowledge and sensor technology. The humans provided protection and tactical expertise. Together, they established a defense network around Voxian space. The 2 disabled harvester vessels yielded valuable information. The species appeared to be collectors, gathering biological specimens from across the galaxy for unknown purposes. They targeted peaceful, technologically advanced species that lacked military defenses, considering them easy prey. 1 month after first contact, Captain Reyes stood again in the crystal chamber of the space station, this time for a formal ceremony. Elder Thazra approached, carrying a small crystalline object that pulsed with inner light. This is the heart of understanding, she explained. Our highest symbol of friendship. For millennia, we believed that a truly advanced species would evolve beyond conflict. You have shown us a different truth, that protection and exploration can evolve together. That strength and gentleness need not be opposed. Reyes accepted the crystal with a bow. And you have shown us that there are paths to advancement we never imagined. Perhaps together, we can create something greater than either of us could alone. As the ceremony concluded, Reyes gazed out through the transparent walls of the station. A joint fleet now patrolled this sector. Elegant Voxian vessels retrofitted with human defense systems, alongside Earth warships enhanced with Voxian sensors and communication technology. The universe had proven more dangerous than the Voxians had believed, but also more wonderful than the humans had imagined. In their differences, they had found complementary strengths. And in the vast darkness of space, a new light of cooperation now shone.